Hello there. Good evening. Good to be with you. I'm Gradney, joining you from the KHOU 11 News Studios with our annual Back to School Q&A with area superintendents. You know, KHOU 11 is proud to be your education station, and it's hard to believe it is already August and already time to go back to school. We hope we can be a help to you by offering this connection and conversation with your superintendent. Getting us underway, kicking things off tonight, Pearland ISD. Joining me now is Superintendent Larry Berger. Hello and welcome.
How you doing today?
I'm doing phenomenal. I know your folks are ready to go, counting down to getting back in the classroom. Up first, before we dive right in, I want to just let everyone know we're going to try to get as many questions as we can in the next half hour. A lot of our questions, many of you already submitted when you took part in the KHOU 11 Back to School survey. And you can still contribute. Just text your questions now to 713-526-1111. 713-526-1111. Don't call it. Text your questions to us. Okay, now that we've gotten that housekeeping out of the way, let's dive in. I'm sure you've had a very busy and productive summer, Superintendent Berger, but we're going to start with questions about school security and safety. It is by far the greatest area of interest for our parents. And the biggest concern among them is the actual safety of their children when they walk inside the school, when they leave them there for the day. Let's start things off. Can you share what safety and security audit of procedures you've done over the summer, changes or adjustments that have been made really in light of Uvalde?
Yes, ma'am. Uvalde was obviously a tragedy that has impacted all of our district, all of our campuses. We were fortunate in 2016, we passed a security bond, so we did a bunch of security updates at that time. We added access controls, security vestibules, increased fencing, camera coverage. We have a great partnership with our Pearland Police Department that supplies our SROs. We are right now during the summer, we are completing the TEA, Governor Abbott pushed out in conjunction with the Texas Safe Schools, the exterior door and interior door audits. And also in that process, just today, we sat down with all of our principals and we discussed the new security measures, the new security protocols. We follow a standard response protocol from I Love You Guys, and we want to make sure that everybody understands what's expected. We have great procedures in place, but we have to make sure that we are vigilant and do not get complacent because, as you stated, education is our job, but we have to make sure that the kids come and go home safe and secure, happy and healthy.
Yeah, I know you're having those conversations and discussions and trainings. Is this something that's happening now at the start of the school year and will continue throughout the school year when it comes to communicating with leadership at the different campuses?
Oh, yes, ma'am, without a doubt. We previously have done the CRAZE training, the alert training with all of our staff, and with all the new staff that's coming on board, we are scheduling with each campus a refresher course, or for the new staff, to let them understand that CRAZE training is important, what to do in cases of a lockdown or a hold or a shelter in place, or heaven forbid, an active situation with the shooter. We want to make sure that our staff is trained so that they can train our students and everyone responds appropriately to make sure everyone is safe. The other thing that we did was we installed remote lockdown buttons in all of our campuses. All of our hallways have them, so anyone can signal danger by pressing that button and alert the campus, which will then send an alert to the SRO officers, central administration, campus administration, so we can respond accordingly.
And again, that's at all of your campuses?
Yes, ma'am, every campus.
Okay, so we talked about staff and the training that they undergo, but a lot of the questions that we got were about armed officers. So how many armed officers do you have in the district? I know you mentioned partnering with Pearland PD, but how many armed officers do you have in the district, and how are they assigned or dispatched?
Yes, ma'am. We have 11 SRO officers that we contract with Pearland Police Department. We have a great partnership. Sergeant Beavers, shout out, phenomenal asset for Pearland ISD. And so our officers stationed mostly at our secondary schools, but they tour the feeder patterns. So they go to the middle schools and the elementaries to check in and make sure that everyone is safe, procedures are being followed, and they make themselves known. I mean, they are partners in our schools. They get to know the students, the parents, and the teachers, so everyone feels safe and comfortable. And beyond that, we have the entire Pearland Police Department. Anytime there's an issue and a call goes out, they respond. When we talk about Pearland, we're one team and we support each other.
I know you talked about inside the building and having those capabilities to alert and alarm from each and every campus. What does the physical perimeter security look like? Meaning, is there fencing, for example, at your schools in Pearland ISD?
Yes, ma'am. Most of our schools do have fencing. For like our high school is not completely fenced around, and other campuses do not. But with the access control that we have added into our buildings, we know when doors are open. We know when doors are locked, along with the exterior and interior audits that are taking place. That helps with the exterior, making sure that we've hardened the outside of our buildings. We try to make sure that everyone goes into the front of the school where we have the security vestibule. So you step into the building, but you do not have access to any of the hallways or any of the classrooms until you go through our Raptor identification system, and then you are buzzed in with a visitor pass and go to the location where you've been approved to attend.
I want to get back to another parent question now. We have a Pearland parent who asked, how will our schools implement a better plan for active threat emergencies? And I assume here that they're talking about what we saw happen in Uvalde so sadly.
A better plan, we believe, just like the campuses that are around us, we follow the CRAZE model, the alert model. So in making sure we have a better plan, it's really educating everyone on the plan that we have. We are following the standards from the Texas Safety Center, as I said before, and so we want to make sure that all of our staff, all of our substitutes, all of our visitors, all of our students understand our standard response protocol, as well as our standard reunification protocol. So the better plan is to train and drill. We want to make sure that everyone has muscle memory. If something does happen, which we hope it never does, but if it does, we want to make sure that everybody reverts back to the training. And so it's really practicing what we preach. And the better plan is making sure everybody knows the plan, how to implement the plan, and moving forward if something happens, how to make sure everybody's safe and secure.
A couple of quick follow-up questions for you there. You said, practicing that plan, making it muscle memory. How often, and this is really for parents who are new to the school district or they have children who are just entering school, how often do the students and staff go through these active shooter drills and training?
Active shooter drills, those are far and few between. We do them on a yearly basis or a bi-yearly basis once every other semester. There are required drills that we have to do that are mandated. There are fire drills, shelter-in-place drills, lockdown drills, lockout drills, hold drills, which are responses to active shooters. Because some people, when they say an active shooter drill, they think we're actually bringing someone in with a weapon. We don't do that. We want to make sure that we are practicing safe and secure processes. We do intruder drills. We do that monthly at our campuses. We have a safe and secure department that goes to campuses and tries to infiltrate the school to see if what we say we're doing is what we're doing. If we are using the security vestibules, if the exterior doors are locked and shut, if the protocols are in place. So they try to infiltrate a school and see how far they can get in the school before somebody stops them and goes through the process that we've trained them on.
Very interesting. Are those unannounced or they schedule it and plan when it happens?
No, ma'am. Those are unannounced. If you schedule them, then they know they're coming.
Right.
So that kind of defeats the purpose. So no, ma'am, they are unannounced. And I don't want to call it, it's kind of a game, but the campuses don't want to be the ones that I have to call them up and say, hey, we did the intruder drill and your campus didn't do very well. So we take it real serious. I mean, if you walk onto one of our campuses, a teacher, a custodian, a cafeteria, maintenance and operations, they all have ID badges. They're all identified. So if you are stranger danger on the campus, somebody's going to stop and talk to you.
Got it. As for the actual school buildings themselves, going back to the infrastructure, are there locks on all classroom doors, and how often are those checked?
Yes, ma'am. Back in the 2016 bond, we put what we call throw locks on all classroom doors, so every teacher or anybody in that classroom can lock the door from the inside. It used to be you had to go on the outside and use a key to lock the door, and that was unsafe because you're going in the hallway. If it's a lockdown drill, if there's somebody happens to be in the hallway that's of a danger, we didn't want to do that. So yes, every classroom has locks that teachers can access. and they are checked now. We check them on a weekly basis. With my cabinet, with my ESC, with any visitors that we have going onto the campus that are district known, we have gone through a training process and information process that when you walk the hallways, check the doors, make sure they're locked, make sure they're closed. It's going to kind of be a new thing for some of our teachers to teach with the door locked, because convenience, you have kids that go to the hallway, go to the bathroom, go to the office. Sometimes it's not very convenient to have that door locked. But safety is number one, and so we're going to make sure that we're following that process, that our classroom doors are locked when instruction is going on.
Got it. What about anxiety? All of this talk, all that's happened, some students are anxious about going back to school, worried that something bad may happen. Is this something the district's taken into consideration, kind of the social, emotional well-being of the student when they come to campus and they're feeling anxious about their own safety and security?
Without a doubt. It goes back to the training. I mean, we train our students. We train our students on the process and the procedures so they know what's going on. We try to empower our students with what they need to do in case the situation happens. But beyond that, it's the culture of a campus that helps a student feel comfortable and safe. If they have someone that they can go to when they feel uncomfortable, either a counselor or a principal or a teacher or a mentor program, we have a great RISE mentor program. But we want to make sure all of our campuses have a culture of safety as well as a culture of accepting. A culture that responds to the student needs, whether social, emotional, or academic. And I think that's a bigger part of making students feel less anxious about coming to school.
Got it. I have another question from a parent who just came in. They asked for Pearland ISD schools such as Rogers Middle School, and they said, which do not have security vestibules, are there plans to install one? Maybe explain first, Superintendent Berger, what a security vestibule is, if all the campuses have them, and then what are the plans for installation? And once again, it was Rogers Middle School that they...
Yes, ma'am. Rogers Middle School has a security vestibule. Every campus that we have has a security vestibule, and to help explain that, at the front entrance where we direct all traffic, you have student drop off in the morning and bus traffic. And so you may have a front door and a back door that is open that is being monitored to allow students in. Once class starts, the exterior doors are all locked except for the front door. And then when you walk in, there's a security vestibule. Used to be in schools, we would just have the receptionist and they were kind of open and they would greet people as they walked in. Now we have a glass enclosure. We have bullet-resistant glass as well as bullet-resistant film on the interior and exterior windows and doors. And so you greet the receptionist behind this glass. They ask for your ID or your reason for being there. They check you in the Raptor system. And if you are cleared, they give you a visitor's badge and send you to your location. They buzz you in. The doors are locked with access controls, and you cannot access it unless you have an approved Pearland ISD employee badge, or you are buzzed in by the receptionist or person working the front desk.
Got it.
So if that person would like a tour of Rogers, I'd be glad to meet with them. I'm available, open door policy, come up here, and we'll be glad to take you over to Rogers and show you how that works, or at any campus, how that security vestibule works.
Wonderful. That person got their question directly answered by Superintendent Berger. You can too. Text your questions to 713-526-1111. Want to talk a different subject now. Also, another area that we saw in our KHOU 11 back to school survey, a huge response to this, parents wanting to know about school lunches. And this really speaks to the financial challenges amid inflation. And as I understand correctly, Superintendent Berger, and correct me here, last year lunches were free. That was per COVID, a federal program. Lunches are different this year in different districts. How will the lunch program work this year in Pearland ISD?
Well, you are correct. All the lunches were being covered for every student. That is no longer the case. We are currently back to our normal lunch operations. So the National School Lunch Program is what we follow for our lunches and our breakfast program. Pearland ISD Food Service serves about 13,000 meals every day. And so I understand that it's difficult out there. Inflation is tough. Everything is tough. Our lunch prices for students on a regular meal plan, the highest are $3. And then, of course, you have reduced and or free. Students can qualify for that. If you go to our webpage, it's front facing. It's the first thing you'll see. There's an application process for free and reduced lunch to see if you can qualify for that. Dorothy Simpson, the Director of Food Service here, is a wonderful person to contact. She can walk you through that process and support you in whatever needs you have. And I know all of our principals, when there's a student on campus, if they happen to not have the money or they forgot their money or there's an issue with their ID badge, we work to cover meals in the meantime if there happens to be an issue. We want to make sure that all our students are fed, are comfortable at school, and prepared to learn.
I know you mentioned that the prices range for a school lunch. Are those prices the same before COVID stepped in, or the COVID relief with school lunches stepped in, or have we seen a rise in lunch prices as well?
Our food services work to maintain the prices. There was a slight increase in our adult prices, but it was raised to $5. But it's a great meal for our adults that do eat there. But for students, we did not raise prices. The prices are the same, and they are all posted by grade level on our website under the food service department.
Who is eligible for free or reduced price lunch?
So on the application, there is a qualification. You either have household income qualifying levels. You can either get a reduced price or a free price. If you're any of the SNAP programs or temporary assistance of a needy family program, or if you happen to be a foster child, have been classified as homeless, or have been displaced in any way, happen to be involved in a Head Start program, those automatically qualify for free and reduced lunch.
And the parents can already go about applying now before school even starts, or do they need to wait until school starts?
Yes, ma'am. Sorry. We strongly advise that you apply now. The application, as I said, is front-facing on our website, because the quicker you apply, the quicker we can get you approved or work through the process of applying, so that way come day one, you can receive the free or reduced meal. The longer you wait, the longer the application takes to get approved. So anybody that needs assistance, please go to our website, or if you need help, please come to Pearland ISD ESC and ask for myself or Dorothy Simpson, and we'll be glad to help you with the process.
Are there other free or reduced meals made available? Meaning, are there meals for breakfast or after school or even the weekends?
Well, breakfast falls under the free and reduced lunch. We currently do not have an after school, unless you happen to be in an after school program that provides it, or weekend meals.
Okay. Remember, folks, text your questions to 713-526-1111. We're doing a Q&A here with the superintendent of Pearland ISD, Superintendent Berger, here answering your questions. We're going to be here until about 7:30. Want to circle back around. We had another parent who asked, this is another security related question, will there be metal detectors?
We currently do not have plans or have metal detectors in our schools. It's a little difficult and a little costly for metal detectors, and so we are reviewing options for that, either portable metal detectors that we may need for spot checking, or there are new technologies that have been sent out to us. I mean, the security environment has become very innovative in making sure that schools can be safe, so we are researching possibility of that, but we currently do not have them in our schools.
Okay, we've talked security, we've talked school lunches. Now let's talk a pressing issue that's a nationwide issue, talking about the teacher shortage. We're asking all our local school districts, where do they stand? Where do you stand with teachers?
This week was our new teacher orientation, so we excitedly welcomed 191 new teachers to Pearland ISD. We are excited about what they bring to us. We're excited about moving forward. Yes, teacher shortage is a problem. We need more teachers to go through and apply. We need students to leave high school, go to college, and become teachers. We will help you do that. We currently have 31 openings as we come to the school year. We have 8 in elementary, 3 in middle school, 7 in junior high, and 13 in high school. So we are actively looking to fill those positions. And how will you fill the gap in the meantime while looking for those next teachers that you need? That's the other thing we're asking for. If anybody wants to make a difference and they want to be a sub, feel free to apply. We will train you up and we'll get you in a classroom, and you will experience nothing like the power and the passion of students in the classroom. They will fill you up every day with energy and love. And for those classes that we can't get subs, we have tried to find retired teachers and bring them back on board. And then we have a wonderful ESC that is full of certified teachers that aren't currently occupying teaching positions. So if we have open classrooms, our C&I department, as they have done in the past, will go in those classrooms and teach lessons. My deputy superintendent is willing, my cabinet is willing. We are educators. So if we have classrooms that have gaps, we'll be in the classroom teaching.
I want to go back to another question that's related to talking about school programs. We had talked about school lunches, and then I had asked you if there were additional meals, and I think this is where we land on this next viewer's question. They're not asking about meals, but they're asking, are there after-school programs, and how do we register for them?
There are, when you say after-school programs, we have clubs and organizations in the school that are associated with, but if you're talking about after-school like care or tutorial programs, the YMCA has programs, after-school programs, and you can register with them, and they use our buildings for after-school programs. We also have communities in schools. We are starting a partnership with them for an after-school program at our middle schools. 2 of our middle schools is going to be a pilot program this year, and you can go on our website or communities in schools and register for those.
Got it. Another parent asked, my son has been in K-12. What's the first day he can be enrolled?
You can enroll as a new student right now. You can go to our website, new student enrollment, and we are taking care of that right now to make sure that they have everything processed. We have your residency, your vaccinations, everything we need so we can get you to the campus and get you the schedule and all the services for the first day of school. Another big part of that is once you get enrolled and get in our Skyward system, if you need bus transportation, that takes a little while to get scheduled and routed. So the quicker you can access our website and enroll, the quicker we make sure everything is ready for day one.
For our teachers who are in the classroom, new recruits, veterans there at the school, there's always so much work to be done. How are teachers and the district making up for what we now know are areas of learning loss due to COVID and virtual learning?
Well, the learning loss is a big deal. Obviously, it is strong in the elementaries, in reading and math. I mean, you can't take away 2 years of in-person instruction and not have a negative effect on that. But our teachers, and I have to commend our teachers in our C&I department, they do wonders. They use assessment, they use data. We use benchmarking data, we use formative assessments. We try to figure out where the students are based on what they're telling us in these assessments, and then create instructional material to support that. We can't always stop new instruction, so we do a very good job of making sure our tier 1 instruction, our initial instruction, is as strong as it can be. And if there are gaps in that learning, we scaffold in foundational skills with new learning to build the student and recover those learning loss gaps.
We talked about the learning loss due to COVID. We have a lot of questions, repeat the exact same question from several parents. What's the COVID protocol for the start of this school year?
Well, TEA just released on the 1st their new health guidance, and so protocols will be, if we'll follow the same mitigations. We're going to make sure that we are cleaning our buildings, high touch point surfaces. We are making sure that we are taking care of our students preventatively as much as we can. If a student tests positive for COVID or a staff member, they will have to follow the CDC and the TEA guidelines of 5 days of isolation. Hopefully symptoms improve, fever goes away, and after the 5 days they can return to campus, and masks are encouraged for the next 5 days for a total of 10 days. Protocols will continue. We'll continue to have our dashboard on a weekly basis. We'll update the community on the dashboard just as the Brazoria County does. We'll report everything to the state for tracking. We are reapplying for the COVID testing measures through TEA. They have increased their testing measures and are asking for an asymptomatic screening process, which we are not sure we will be conducting in Pearland, so we are reviewing that. But we want to make sure that we have all the resources, all the mitigations that we can. And moving forward, it aligns. You know, we have that monkeypox thing coming around. That's can be a little scary. You get that rash and monkeypox. So fortunately, our COVID mitigation for cleaning, our custodians do a phenomenal job of high touch point cleaning all throughout the day. They're cleaning door handles, they're cleaning countertops, they're cleaning bathrooms to make sure that on surface areas, either the COVID virus or now the monkeypox virus is taken care of and removed. And then in situations where we do have a positive case, our custodial staff goes in and does deep cleaning. And so we will continue with our mitigations, and we will follow the new TEA guidelines that can be found at the TEA website under the health guidance for COVID.
I know you mentioned the dashboard, but will you also do COVID contact tracing?
What we will do is the same as we did last time. We will do classroom notifications letters. So if we get a positive case, report it to us within that 5-day period of isolation. We will notify the classroom to make sure that the parents understand that somebody in your classroom did report to us that they tested positive.
And you talked about the cleaning procedures that are already in place for monkeypox, but if we see an outbreak, a significant rise in monkeypox cases, will protocol be revisited?
If something like that happens, we will have to work with Brazoria County Health Department to figure out what mitigations or changes they would want to take place. If we did have an outbreak of monkeypox, just like if we have an outbreak of chickenpox or the flu, we would put protocols in place with our nurses to where they would be contacting the parents and letting them know that, hey, we've had these issues coming up. Communication is key. Transparency is key. We hope that does not happen. We hope that our mitigation prevents that from happening, but we would work with our medical people in the schools, our nurses, as well as Brazoria County Health Department to figure out the best practices to make sure that we can quell any outbreak of monkeypox that will happen.
We started off with security questions, going to return to those because the overwhelming majority of questions are related to security. We have a parent who asked, are elementary outdoor playgrounds secured?
All of our elementary outdoor playgrounds are fenced.
And I'm going to assume that's what they mean by asking about secured. Another question we have, do we have to have clear backpacks?
No, we do not have a clear back policy in Pearland.
And is there any specific policy as related to the student that they need to know about when it comes to personal security, meaning everything from wardrobe, like we just asked about the backpack question, to trench coats and the like?
Well, obviously in our dress code policy, we don't allow trench coats or those things, and students know that, and we teach them on the dress code and behaviors. The main thing, if I'm talking to students, I would tell them, just continue to follow the process that has helped Pearland ISD in the past. If you see something, say something. Not just in the school building, not just on campus, but in social media. A lot of times, as you've seen in these cases, social media is where you see the first incidents of that could be a safety concern. And students are on social media, they live on social media, they know what's going on. Don't be afraid. Let us know either through our anonymous reporting, talking to your mentor, talking to a teacher or a principal, or emailing me. See something, say something. Help us be a part. Engage in the process of keeping your school safe.
I just have some different questions here, just trying to get as many as we can here in the last few minutes. Another individual asked, does Pearland ISD have an alternative teacher certification program like HISD to help with a teacher shortage?
We are working on it. We partner currently with many alternative certification programs. We get the list all the time from either Texas Teachers or I Teach Texas, and we are calling those candidates for our certification program. We are now bringing on long-term subs that may not be certified, and Dr. Dahlkamp, our HR department, is working to expedite their certification. So we bring them on board even though they may not be certified, but we are working towards their certification. And our HR department is also working with or trying to work with universities and colleges around us to build that partnership where we can have an alternative certification program.
The follow-up there is, how will you ensure you retain your teachers and attract new talent?
Love them every day. You know, we are talking about Build Pearland Proud. That is where we're living. In Pearland, we are the district, we are the city, we are the community. And when teachers come here, we want them to know that. Like I said, we just had our new teacher orientation with 191 teachers, and a teacher walked up to me. She was in Louisiana for about 20 years, she said. And she said when she walked into Pearland High School, she felt like it was family. She felt like it was home. She felt welcome. And that's what we want to do. Obviously, we need a good compensation package. We need a good training package. We need to give them the resources they need in the classroom. We need to support them in the classroom. We need to remove as much as we can away from the classroom that is not direct teaching. We need to bring that to the administrative level, take care of the paperwork, take care of the things that take them away from students. Their passion, their purpose, their why are the students. If we focus on that and support that, we will attract and we will retain teachers.
We talked a lot about teachers, but someone asked about bus drivers. They say bus transportation. Some buses have 3, sometimes 4 students per seat. Have we hired more bus drivers?
We have hired more bus drivers. We adjusted the pay for our bus drivers. We have done special job fairs for auxiliary employees, not just our bus drivers, but our food service, our maintenance and operation. And so, yes, we have hired more bus drivers. Now, there is a training program. Some of them come with the CDL and are ready to go day one. Some of them have to be trained up, and they've been doing that over the summer. So we are hoping. I know Pearland ISD, the bus routes were a little bit of an issue last year because we didn't have enough drivers. Our director of transportation drove a bus every day. And so hopefully that is not going to happen this coming year, and that we are better prepared, have better routes, and have those routes covered so students can get to school on time.
Another parent wants to know, do we have to wait for the first day of school to enroll in bus transportation?
No, please do not. If you wait for the first day of school, you will not have bus transportation probably for the first week of school. Enroll now for bus transportation. Our website, pearlandisd.org, you go to the top, hit departments, hit transportation, and it'll show you how to enroll for bus transportation there. It'll explain all of the process. And if at any time you feel confused or lost, please email, please call. We are available to answer all of your questions. We want to make sure that the start of school for our parents and our students is as easy as possible.
We have covered so much here. This half hour has gone by so fast. Real quick, I want to get back to some basics as we come to a close. How can parents best support their students and set them up for success this year?
I ask for 2 things. I ask you to be engaged and communicate with us. We are a partnership. I talk about a triangle of support here at Pearland ISD. We have the teachers, the campus, we have the administration, we have the parents. If all 3 of us are working together, that middle is supporting the students. So as a parent, positively engage with your student, with your campus, and with us. We are a partnership in a community to make sure that your students are successful and productive. So if you have any issues, any questions, any problems, volunteer, support, just engage, participate, be present. If you have an issue or concern, address it with us, and we are working together. We are a team. We are not opponents.
It's been a challenging couple of years for schools and school districts. How are you feeling about this school year and your message to students?
My message is I'm excited. I am pumped. I have a message going out. I like adults. I like teachers. I like parents. But I love students. Students are the lifeblood of a campus. They are the passion and the purpose and the reason what we do is what we do. We want to educate. We want to communicate. We want to build relationships and connections and experiences for our students. So I am waiting for them to come back to the classroom. I am waiting for them to engage in their education. I'm waiting for them to grow, learn, and love what we do here in Pearland ISD. So what am I excited for? I'm excited for the first day of school because I walk every campus and get to see the excitement on the students' faces.
Yeah, you are channeling plenty of enthusiasm and energy. Need the kids to meet you where you are. By the way, what's the best way for parents to stay connected to their school and Pearland ISD?
All of our website, pearlandisd.org, top corner, you can click on the schools and see each school's information, or you can email me, bergerl@pearlandisd.org. I will respond and direct you to where you need to be. As I said, we are a team and a partnership. It takes communication and collaboration and building of trust, and that's what we're working on here at Pearland ISD. We want to make sure we build Pearland proud every day.
Superintendent Berger, thank you so much for your time, all the information. This has been highly informative. I hope for all those parents out there watching, maybe perhaps students and staff as well. KHOU 11 is proud to provide this platform as Houston's education station. Thank you, and all our best on a safe and productive school year. And folks, you are so welcome. And folks, be sure to follow KHOU 11 News on Facebook and Twitter for our next back to school Q&A, and text the word school to 713-526-1111 to take the KHOU 11 back to school survey. We'll see you a little bit later tonight at 10.